Yeah, good morning, guys. So this video is very important for your CA final, CMA final, CS final examination. I am covering the statutory updates in this particular video. Very important. This updates will is applicable for those students writing in November 2020 or May 21 or November 21 examination. And the statutory update is a document which is released by ICAI 2 days back. It's a 28 pages PDF, but if you follow this video we can complete in the next 1 hour or 1.5 hours. Very important. From this statutory update you can expect minimum 5 marks. So I expect you to have a book and pen in front of you, so that whenever I write something I expect you to also to copy the same. Where can I find this statutory update? You can go to ICAI website, knowledge portal, CA final new syllabus, direct access paper number 7. There you will find statutory update applicable for November 20 examination, that is being covered. Those students who are writing in November 2020, very important for them this video you have to go through. And May 21, November 21 also important, because these updates can be asked in May 21 or November 21 attempt as well. So where can I find the PDF? In the knowledge portal. Clear? The first updates are starts updates. The first update is given in section 47 clause 7 AB subclause D. Section 47 subsection 7 clause 7 D, which says transfer of specified securities. Transfer of specified securities or rupee denominated bonds or GDR, global depository receipts. Transfer of specified securities or rupee denominated bonds or global depository receipt by a non-resident in International Financial Service Center is not a transfer. No transfer, no capital gain. In RSC, Recognized Stock Exchange, in International Financial Service Center. But the amendment update speaks about, they have clarified what do you mean by specified securities. So star mark. Specified securities means units of business trust. They have clarified what all comes under the specified securities. Units of business trust, units of mutual fund, foreign currency denomination bond, foreign currency denomination bond, and the last one, unit of alternative investment fund. So if these assets are sold by a non-resident, in International Financial Service Center is not a transfer, no capital gain will apply. Copy the first update as per the statutory updates released by ECI. Quick please. And one more, it's foreign currency denominated equity shares. So these are specified. He can ask in MCQ, sir, all this. लास्ट 10 सेकेंड से जल्दी करो. ठीक है, हो गया. गिविंग वन मोर टाइम. Sure. Now let's continue with the second update. Be careful. Second update has come in case of gift. Gift is covered under section 56 subsection 2 clause 10, and if you have attended my sessions, we covered extensively gift in cash, gift in kind, kind immovable, mobile, without inadequate consent, that is fine. We also covered exceptions 10 11 cases, which says in the following cases gifts are not taxable even though if it exceeds 50,000, received from relative on occasion of marriage, will, inheritance, succession, medical institutions, scholarships, charitable trust, and so on. Amendment says, this is what we have to learn now. This all is only what we already covered till here, what we already covered. But amendment says the following transaction is not a gift and not taxable under 56(2)(10). So in 1011 cases we have which says are not taxable. One more case has been added which says that is not a gift, even though it exceeds 50,000, not taxable. Gift, when I use the word gift, it can be cash or kind. Kind can be immovable or movable. Received by a resident of unauthorized colony, कहाँ, Delhi में, where such transaction is notified by central government. If you are receiving any gift and staying in Delhi, and that in Delhi in unauthorized colony, what is unauthorized colony? I'll give the definition, and the transaction should be notified by central government, then this is not a gift and not taxable in the hands of recipient. एग्जाम में ये दिल्ली अनऑथराइज्ड कॉलोनी याद रख लेना. इफ दिस टू इज गिवन, इट्स नॉट अ गिफ्ट, नॉट टैक्सेबल. कॉपी द सेकंड अपडेट प्लीज, क्विक. प्लस इसका मतलब समझाऊं सर. इसका मतलब है, if I gift up land to my friend and that land it does not belong to me only and I gave as a gift, for him it is not taxable because for him it is an unauthorized colony, unauthorized building. I gave a gift, an asset as a gift which does not belong to me. I gave it as a friend, like benami property, benami transaction. Those are outside the ambit of gift, because for that we have a separate act called Benami Act. There's a logic behind it. Listen, once again I repeat, what is that amendment? Gift received by resident, my friend, of unauthorized colony. Unauthorized colony बोलते colony for which no permission has been obtained for building plan. I gave a I have 4-floor building. I took permission from GHMC for 4-floor building. I constructed 10 floors. Gave it as a gift to my friend. The 6 floors for which there is no approval from GHMC, 6 floors are called unauthorized colony. I had approval of 4-floor construction. I constructed 10 floors and I gave a gift to my friend. For my friend, only the first 4 floors will be taxable, not the balance 6 floors, because the balance 6 floors will be called unauthorized colony. इसका मतलब वो होता, but it should be in Delhi only, no other place. Note it down. ठीक है, दिस इज योर सेकेंड स्टैट्यूटरी अपडेट applicable for CA फाइनल स्टूडेंट्स. ओके, ठीक है. नाउ लेट्स कंटिन्यू. थर्ड अपडेट, बी केयरफुल. थर्ड update is section 115 BAA, section 115 BAB and surcharge rates. These are given in the statutory updates. These two you can check my YouTube channel under amendment lecture, YouTube channel CA Ronak Agarwal tax classes. There you can go to playlist, there you will find amendment folder, you will find this section. Surcharge rates also you will find the same thing. So these three ke liye I have already the lectures uploaded on my YouTube channel. Under the playlist you go to amendment series. Amendment series mein you can find this. This will find the tax rates of companies. This is under surcharge rates. I will not be covering once again because already covered. You don't remember, you want a revision, you can go to the YouTube channel and check. Next, fourth update is given on charitable trust. Fourth update is given on charitable trust. If you remember charitable trust concept, minimum 85% you should spend for charitable purpose and maximum 15% you should invest. If I remember charitable trust concept, if you have gone through my lectures or any other academy lectures, I am not bothered, but this is what we covered. Minimum 85 should be spent for charitable purposes and 15% should be invested. Here government will tell where to invest. Government will give a list where to invest that 15%. Already 8 to 9 cases government has given us that you can invest. You can invest in government securities, immovable property, units of mutual fund, units of UTI and all those nonsense. New list has been given. Charitable trust can invest that 15% in. One more new list has been added for that 15%. This 15% is covered under section 11 subsection 5. If I remember, you can check your notes. Those who have attended my sessions, you will get that particular section. The charitable trust can invest in equity shares or bonds or debentures of a company. The charitable trust can invest that 15% in a company engaged in, the company shall be engaged in retail payment systems, retail payment systems or digital payment settlements. Nothing but Paytm, Google Pay. So I can invest in the charitable trust, can invest at 15% in the shares, debentures, bond of companies like Paytm, Freecharge, Google Pay, Phone Pay, which is approved by SEBI. That company should be approved by SEBI and RBI. Where at least 51% of the shares, where at least 51% of the shares are held by National Payments Corporation of India. National Payments Corporation of India. So let's repeat once again. 115 BAA, 115 BAB speaks about tax rates for companies. You can check my YouTube channel under that playlist amendment series. You will find this. Surcharge rates also you will find. Okay. Concept of charitable trust may amendment happen, which says minimum 85 should be spent, maximum 15 can be invested. 15 can be invested in 10 11 cases. One more case has been added, that 15% you can invest. For example, I received donations of 200. I should spend minimum 170 for charitable purpose, maximum 30 I can invest. One of the list is also added, equity shares, bonds, debentures of companies like Paytm, who is engaged in digital payment systems, where the 51% of the shares of Paytm shall be held by National Payment Corporation of India. Then this is allowed. मार्क दिस एज इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर योर एमसीक्यू क्वेश्चन, पक्का पूछ सकता है ये आपको. Copy this as update number 4. प्लीज जल्दी कॉपी करो सर. ठीक है, चलो नेक्स्ट। NPCI बोल तो नेशनल पेमेंट्स कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया। नेक्स्ट लेट्स स्टार्ट अपडेट नंबर 5। सुनो, section 194 में update has come under TDS on cash withdrawal. This was specifically covered by me in the TDS lecture in our classes, face-to-face classes. If an account holder withdraws cash from a bank, post office, cooperative society, bank, if an account holder withdraws cash from a bank, post office, cooperative society, bank, this bank will deduct TDS at the rate of 2% if the cash withdrawal exceeds 1 crore, and the TDS will be on the an amount of 2% in excess of 2 crores. But if example, if I withdraw 1.5 crores cash, TDS will apply on the 50 lakhs only at the rate of 2%. Account holder is deductee, bank is deductor. Update: TDS under 194N will not apply, but the bank will not deduct TDS if the account holder deductee is government. Government is withdrawing cash, TDS will not apply. Bank is withdrawing cash, TDS will not apply. These two are amendments. The next two: full-fledged money changer, forex dealer, which is licensed by RBI, TDS will not apply. Authorized dealer and its agent licensed by RBI, TDS will not apply. If that fellow is an account holder withdrawing cash even though more than 1 crore, TDS bank will not deduct TDS, and TDS under 194N, N for Nagpur, will not apply. Copy this. CS बैंक बोल तो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी बैंक, CS बैंक बोल तो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी बैंक, मेक अ नोट. Full-fledged money changer, nothing but bracket में लिख लो forex dealer. And this section, two more points I have added. This I covered in the class also. This section is effective from 1/9/19. बोलते if you withdraw cash more than 1 crore before this date, TDS will not apply. On or after this date, TDS will apply. But for the calculation of limit, the previous withdrawal will also be calculated. For example, so no, don't copy. In August 19, I have withdrawn 75 lakhs cash. In September, August 19, September 19, again I have withdrawn 75 lakhs cash. Total is 1.5 crores. TDS will apply on the 50 lakhs only at the rate of 2%. At the rate of 2%. Second case, August May I have withdrawn 3 crores cash. TDS will not apply because the section is from September. In September I have withdrawn 2 crores cash. TDS will apply. Total is 5 crores minus 1 crore, 4 crores. TDS will apply on 4 crores at the rate of 2%. So if you withdraw before September cash, TDS will not apply whatever might be the amount. After September, whatever you have withdrawn before September, that amount will be added to calculate the limit of 1 crore. And then we check the TDS implications. This was already covered in the class session as well. Please check karo. This is your 5th update. I repeat, very important है sir, ये सब please. चलो सर लास्ट 1 मिनट जल्दी करो. चलो now listen. So 5 updates we covered till now. First one was on securities notified. Second one was on gift. Third one, tax rates of companies 115 BAA, 115 BAB surcharge. I am not covering in this video. Already you have in my YouTube channel under the playlist amendment series. You will find tax rates of companies surcharge. Please go through. Next amendment is on charitable trust. A list has been added. There also you can invest. Next one is 194N. If the account holder is forex dealers, this section will not apply. Next we are coming the 6th update as per your ICH PDF file. It's 28 pages. I will cover in 3 pages only, and these 3 pages will cover all the 28 pages. Don't cry. Section 194M. This I covered. This was a new section introduced. You can check your TDS notes. You will find this section. The heading is TDS on certain payments by individual HUF. Limit amount is 50 lakhs. TDS is 5%. Contract payments, commission and professional services, personal purpose. If you are making personal payments, then also TDS will apply if it is amount is more than 50 lakhs. Now new section has been introduced, so some clarification has come. First clarification, these four are clarifications, 5 are clarifications. First clarification, TAN is not required for deductor. Second, generally the time limit to pay TDS to government is 7th of the following month, but for this section 194M they have given the time limit as 30 days from the end of the month in which deduction is made. For example, today is 21st August 2020. If I deduct TDS today under this section, I will have to pay the TDS to central government on or before the next month ka last date, 30th September 2020. Within 30 days from the end of the month in deduction made. I made deduction in August, will go to the end of the August plus add one more month, 30th September. Time limit to file TDS return. Generally the TDS return has to be filed quarterly in TDS, but for this section you have to file with same date within 30 days, same from the end of the month in which deduction is made. So within 30, it means by 30th September I should not only pay the TDS to government, I should file the TDS return also. And the form number of TDS return, form number is 26QD. Generally you know 24Q, 26Q. For this section new form has been notified, 26QD. Once you file the return, first I should deduct TDS. I deducted. I should pay within 30 days. I shall file within 30 days, same time. I shall file in form number 26QD. Once I file the return, I will issue TDS certificate. Form number for TDS is 16D. You know form 16 for salary, 16A is other than salaries. For this section it's 16D. So for 194M, they have notified a new form number for TDS return, 26QD. They have notified a new form number for 16D for issue of TDS certificate. Within 15 days from the due date of filing, due date is 30th September, within 15 days become before 15th October, I should issue the TDS certificate. These 5 points are amended and clarified by the central government. Under section 194, M of the Act. Under section 194 M of the Act. Please make a note. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh. Now copy this. Okay. So 194 was a new section introduced in Finance Act 2019 by Nirmala Sitharaman with effect from 1/9/2019. Detailed discussion happened and uska explanation to this 194M also you will find in our amendment lecture series also. Okay, you can check that as well. Total 8 updates happened for direct taxes and 1 update on international taxation. International taxation update I will be taking up in the next week in a separate video, because that for that I expected to revise secondary and primary adjustment, then I will be taking up that particular update. Becomes easy for you to understand it. But for direct taxes, 8 updates for intentional taxation, only there is one update. ठीक है, यहाँ तक हो गया, ये बोलो रे, हो गया। चलो नेक्स्ट, 7th update. Every time they are extending this time limit, I don't know, for God's sake. Linking of Aadhaar with PAN under 139AA. There's a section called 139A which speaks of linking of Aadhaar. If you don't link the Aadhaar with the PAN, PAN will be called invalid. They're keeping on extending the time limit, and as per the latest notification, the last date what you have to link Aadhaar with PAN is 31st March 2021. Before it was 31st March 2018. They made it 30th September 18, 31st March 19, then 30th September 19, 31st March 20, then they made 30th September 20, then they made 31st March 21. Due to coronavirus effect, they have extended the time. Also, it is your duty to link your Aadhaar with the PAN by this date. If you do not link by this date, your Aadhaar, your PAN will be treated as invalid or inoperative. They are unfortunately keeping on extending the time limit for this. I don't know for what purpose. They should not do that, but they are doing it. Now update number 8, permissible electronic payments. In Income Tax Act, this section restrict cash payments. 80JJAA additional deduction for employees. You should pay to employees salary other than cash, one condition. 269 SS, if you take a loan, advance or deposit more than 20,000 per person per transaction, it should be other than cash. ST, when you repay. 269T also same. 13A, political party cannot receive donations in cash more than 2,000. 35 AD, revenue expenditure, capital expenditure more than 10,000 per person per day. It should not be other. It should not be in cash, bearer check or cross check. 43(1), if you buy an asset more than 10,000 per person per day, make a payment in cash, bearer check, cross check. That amount will not be considered for the purpose of calculation of depreciation. These sections restrict cash payments or cash receipts. Government want to go digital. So they have clarified, as in the act, this section's restriction of cash, we expect you to do the transaction in the following modes. For example, donations. 40A3 says, if you incur an expenditure, I got a Xerox bill, 2 lakhs. And if I pay the Xerox bill more than 10,000 per person per day in cash, that amount will be disallowed. But if I receive a Xerox bill of 2 lakhs and I pay 2 lakhs in cash on the same day, 2 lakhs cannot be debited to penal account. Government is telling, if you do this, restriction of cash. So I am asking to government, how should I pay to Xerox fellow? You are telling, if I pay in cash, you will disallow the expenditure. Now how should I pay? Government has given these modes, pay in any mode. Choice is yours. These many options I am giving you. You can pay in any mode. RuPay debit card, Bhim UPI, that is Paytm, Google Pay, Phone Pay, UPI QR code, debit card, credit card, net banking, IMPS, NEFT, RTGS. You can pay in these modes, but do not pay in cash. We restrict the cash transactions for these sections. Then we are asking to government, how should we pay? Government has given so many options. You pay in any mode, we have no problem, but not in cash. Copy this. Aadhaar, Bhim, Aadhaar Pay. You know what is the full form of Bhim, sir? I doubt you know. Even if you don't know, likh lo. Bharat Interface of Money. Bharat बोलते India. interface of money. यूपीआई का फुल फॉर्म यूनिफाइड पेमेंट्स इंटरफेस. Nothing but you can write down last में. It includes your Paytm also. It includes your Google Pay. It includes your Phone Pay. This also it's covered. You can pay in these modes. So government shilling Ray, you should pay to your Xerox fellow in these modes. If you pay in cash, we'll disallow the expenditure. We want to discourage cash transactions. 44 ED का है because presumptive taxation में 8% of your turnover or 6% if it is received other than cash. So if you are receiving in these modes, you have to pay on 6% of your turnover. If you are receiving the sales in cash, you have to pay income will be 8% of your turnover under presumptive taxation under section 44 AD, which is covered in PGBP. So this completes the statutory updates as per the PDF issued by ICAI. For tax rate of companies and for surcharge rates, I request you to go through the video in my YouTube channel for revision. Very, very important. Whether you covered my classes or not, if you go through, definitely will be helpful. This completes from direct taxes. I'll cover a next video next week. I'll upload on statutory update for international taxation as well. So these are 8 updates. Make a note of it. Very, very important for the students writing in November 20, May 21, November 21 examination. Thank you. Have a nice day. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.